I don't know if I believe I'll be home by Christmas Eve. Yeah.
All right.
Hanukkah.
That was great.
Rap version of it.
Are you guys going out for the voice?
Do a rap version. I don't know.
American Idols.
You ready? I don't know, but I believe I'll be home by Christmas Eve.
This is. I don't know if this is the greatest or worst entertainment I've seen.
I'm not sure either.
That is the X factor right there.
Oh man, now, you guys.
Best Nat has talent.
Did you guys, or do you guys, have the same stupid old marching songs that we used to have?
I think we still have a lot of them, probably.
They're timeless, so I'm sure
They
we do.
are, yeah.
I actually work out to some of them on my listen to them on my iPod.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Now, back in the Vietnam era, a lot of our songs included this fictitious character named Jody.
Jody.
Did you guys still have Jody?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we
is
have
he still
Jody.
around?
Oh,
Really?
Jody's still around.
Jody's alive and well.
Oh man,
Jody's living it up back home.
Jody was trouble. Yeah. Oh.
Jody's everything.
Jeez. Okay. Well, everybody knows Jody.
Well, on that note, we'll talk to Jody later on. Everyone, welcome to Veterans Nation. I'm Mike Dowling, U.S. Marine, along with the rest of the team, Trevor Scott, Mr. Rydell Danzy, Michelle Ladd, filling in for Kelly Smith, and our co-producer, Mr. Rick Seaman.
Happy to be here, folks. Happy to be here with you guys. So
That's right, and we are honoring the past, marching on towards the future.
that's what we do.
With a Jody ditty.
Yes,
Jody.
that's right. And in addition to dedicating to Jody, we were also dedicating to the Army's 1st Air Cavalry Division.
Yeah, the Cav. All right. There's an outfit.
Trevor, did you ever wear that patch?
No, sir.
He was 101st. You were 101st.
101st.
Oh, okay.
All right, now tell me, is this an actual offshoot of Cavalry? Did it segue into?
It was.
Yeah.
It was horse.
Because my grandfather was
Cavalry.
Right.
cavalry.
There's still a
like
cavalry.
horse
They don't ride
cavalry.
horses anymore.
Yeah.
But they're still.
Yeah.
They're still
Actually, we did have horses. We still had stables, but we were air cav, and we all then brought them off for service.
That's right. You were Cav.
You were first Cav?
He was air Cav.
217 air cav.
Yeah.
Rode flying horses.
Yeah. Well, and then in the Vietnam War, then they took on the air cav mode. Using helicopters. So then they started calling them the 1st Air Cav Division.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Which was like, the 101 was also an air mobile division.
Right. Still is.
Yeah. And in Vietnam. Yeah.
I feel like we can do a whole show just on that unit. Right?
You could.
And maybe we should.
You could, yeah. Maybe soon we will.
Maybe we
yeah.
Or Mel Gibson can make a movie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's some good stuff about our good friends at the VFW. As the largest organization of combat veterans, VFW knows the importance of keeping military families in touch. And because of that, in 1996, the VFW launched the VFW Operation Uplink, a premier calling program for deployed service members that provides free phone time to active duty military personnel and hospitalized veterans. Operation Uplink initially provided calling cards to deployed and hospitalized troops, but on Mother's Day of 2006, due to the growing popularity of the program and thanks to the generosity of corporate donors like Sport Clips and Harleysville Insurance, the program began hosting free call days. The new program provides 2 designated days each month when deployed service members can make phone calls from their Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, or MWR, center to the U.S. and other home-based locations, all free of charge, of course, courtesy of Operation Uplink. The VFW and Ladies Auxiliary members, as well as other generous citizens, have supported the program. Now, since its start in 2006, free call days have provided more than 6.4 million free phone connections for service members and their families. Now, any individual or business that's interested in sponsoring a free call day, contact Linda Ferguson of VFW National Military Services at 816-968-1102 or at lferguson@vfw.org with any questions.
Bravo, VFW. What a great program.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's
VFW.
Yeah, well, here's a press release to Veterans Network from the Senate Committee on Veteran Affairs. An amendment that recently passed the Senate has just been signed into law by the president. The new law requires the Pentagon to establish a standardized suicide prevention program. The Senator Patty Murray amendment, which is named after the committee chairman, eliminates gaps in care from one service to the next and implements suggested changes of major reviews of military suicide prevention programs. Murray crafted the amendment after a major study by the RAND Corporation, which showed that there are serious gaps and a lack of consistency in the military services suicide prevention programs. The amendment's passage comes as the number of active duty suicides rose to 166 for 2012, already more than the total for 2011. What we just talked about, it actually hits home for me because I've had several personal friends lose the battle with their own silent war that they had. One of them really recently, actually. And, you know, on top of this, I actually just read an article that said that we had more more suicides and actual combat deaths in 2012.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Which is just terrible, you know? That's the real war going on with vets right now is their own silent war that they have going on with themselves.
Yeah. If more deaths are dying from suicide than combat, I mean, we really need to shift our focus, I think.
Yeah, and don't you guys think, being OEF, IEF, that multiple deployments has really been a major factor in these suicides?
Definitely.
I mean,
the op tempo nowadays, when you're gone for a year, home for a year, gone for a year, home for a year, I mean, it takes a toll.
That stress to the civilian world is unimaginable. What that's like.
I mean, well, and then a lot of people have survivor's guilt, things like that, where they come home and they feel like it should have been them instead of their good buddy.
Right.
But I think it's about 1/3 of the suicides. Some of these guys actually haven't even deployed. You know, I think we need to remember that as well.
Interesting point.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a percentage of, and that could have been way too high, the 1/3, but there's actually a good little percentage of vets that end up committing suicide that actually haven't even served in a combat zone. So it's just really interesting, the statistics.
And why do you think that is? Is it because I don't want to go? I mean, but that makes no sense.
Well, yeah, you got to take it
because they didn't.
Or are you saying guys that are about to be deployed, or guys that just never?
No, I don't know if they were about to be, or just they just simply haven't or weren't.
Interesting to do some research on that.
Yeah, so we just know that they're non-deployed.
Right, but I mean, just like any major large organization, you're going to have your percentage of people like that. Just like whatever the average is across the nation, they say it's actually comparable to what the average is in the military. But a lot of people don't like the comparison between the national average and the military average of suicide deaths because it's a completely different environment being in the military.
Right.
You know, so it's
apples and oranges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the military should be taking care of its own. Is the bottom line. And vets
in
should
every
be taking
aspect.
care
Oh
of
yeah,
Right.
I mean, and it's like we've said before. You know, the military's responsibility is not just to train us to go to war; it's to make sure we can come out of this war, intact.
Well, and actually, I think you just hit it right on the head. You know, they train us for all this. We do all this hardcore training, but there's no training in terms of how to handle that situation mentally once you come home from it.
I know, and when Bob Filner was still with the House Committee on Veterans Affairs, I've had a number of discussions with him, interviews, and then off-the-cuff discussions. And we were talking one day in his office, and I said, Congressman, I said, something happened to me coming out of Vietnam that I think saved my life. I was wounded after 7 months in combat, went to the hospital, and I was in the hospital in Okinawa for 2 months. I get out and I have 4 months left in the military before I can get what was known as an early out then for draftees. But I still had to do 4 months. So they didn't know what to do with us. We're walking on canes and crutches. So they would send us to Korea and give us easy jobs in Korea. So I got to Korea, got an easy job. There's a village and bars and everything across the street, and I had a good old time. I partied. I partied for 4 months in Korea. But I was there with my peers, my co-Vietnam vets who were in the same, disabled condition I was. So you couldn't cry to them because they were the same as you. So that was good. So there was a debriefing. The other thing that was good about it was all the troops that were in Korea that had never been to Vietnam would ask us the same stupid questions about being in combat that we're going to have to get from our friends and family when we get home.
All right.
So we were already kind of tuned up for those stupid questions. So I think that was very beneficial too.
That's good.
So it was an unwinding. It was a debriefing, just like the guys in World War II coming home on the ships for 2 months. They were in the bottom of that ship, the infantry guys playing poker for 2 months and talking about the war, you know, decompressing.
Yeah, it's a good way to transition.
But and Filner, having told him that, next thing I know, he's got a bill. It's called the D Boot Camp. And I saw some of his points. One of his points was that it should be a 2-month period that you're still in the military, but you're really doing what I got to do in Korea. Get an easy assignment and being able to unwind, you know, decompress with your peers. The only thing I didn't like about his bill was he wanted to include family members. I said, no, keep them out of it till the guy.
Yeah.
That was my feeling anyway. But that's what we need. We really need a serious, effective decompression exit from the military. It's going to cost, if it costs them 2 months, you know, paying us for 2 months, so what?
Yeah. Better than the cost of somebody's life.
Yeah, and everything else, PTSD and all that. You know.
Right.
Anyway, I've spouted, okay?
Yeah, no, it's good to have that.
Well, we're glad you're still here with us, Rick. I'm glad you got to go through that decompression phase. You know, but I actually really feel for the Vietnam vets because when you did get out, you didn't really, a lot of you guys weren't received too kindly by society at that time. Whereas today's vets, Iraq and Afghanistan, I actually feel like we are supported, you know, in generally speaking, by the country, so which helps.
All right. So,
all right. Well, should we take a quick break?
Let's take a quick break.
All right. We shall return, vets. Stay tuned.
If we were truly going to educate and empower a new generation to be the most successful, well-adjusted generation of disabled veterans in this country's history, things had to change.
Oh, why you look so sad? The tears are in your eyes. Come on and come to me now. Don't be ashamed to cry.
I lost my right leg below the knee July 14th, 2003, just south of Baghdad.
Lost my right eye and was blinded to my left in Iraq by a piece of shrapnel from an artillery round.
I lost my leg on an aircraft carrier on January 29th, 2005.
I don't know what to do. Nothing you confess can make me love you less. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. I won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. Oh, I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you.
All right, we're back. And vets, listen, we're here to keep you guys informed as much as we can, keep you aware of your benefits information, resources, educational and employment opportunities. And we have no problem if you guys want us to investigate some issues for you, get to the bottom of things.
In constant search of truth and accuracy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Trevor, I think you've actually been looking into something recently. Isn't that correct?
Right. I'm looking into these advertising claims by corporations about that they support veterans and these programs they're running. I'm learning a lot of it holds water, but some of the corporations are kind of you know, not completely honest with how they're going about business. Some of them are just jumping on the patriotic bandwagon just to gain client and revenue volume.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and you know, which ones will keep waving the flag when the war winds down and hopefully ends, and then all of these deployed troops take on the lives of veterans. Okay?
Right.
That's my worry, because look what happened in Vietnam. When that war ended, it was 15 years of relative peace, and while the ugly war was being, Vietnam was being swept under the rug, so 15 years go by, but during those 15 years, vets were dying of Agent Orange exposure, vets were dying of suicide, all that was going on. So what I want to know is, where was all the Anderson Cooper sensationalism back in those days, Didn't have it. So I don't want to see that go on again, I don't care when this war is over, the veterans remain. Okay? So
Yeah.
that's it. If you're going to get on board and be ready to stay on board.
Well, thankfully, some companies have already stepped up and created veteran initiative programs to hire them and actively recruit them.
Yeah, hirings, that applies to their future, right? These, schools helping with the GI Bill and Yellow Ribbon, that's all positive. That's into the future, but let's not have one of these deals. Okay, the war is over, done. Yep. Forget them. That's I personally, I won't tolerate that, and I know you guys won't either.
So when do we get the dirty list?
Well, it's coming. It's taking some work, some investigative phone calls, and posing as veteran customers and that type of thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
You ever get busted? You ever?
Yeah.
I can see you getting busted. Yeah. Nice.
I did learn something about one large corporation, a well-known one that I'm sure all you guys know. Got my attention, of course. Heinz ketchup. Everyone knows.
Yeah. Okay,
everyone loves ketchup. We're all American, right?
Yeah.
I noticed these "Our Turn to Serve" stickers in the Heinz bottles that they have now, and even says "Say thanks and we'll donate." So I looked into it to see if these claims are really true. What I found out was pretty good. They're raising money and raising awareness for the Wounded Warriors Project. There's actually a QR, a quick response code in the back. If you scan that with your smartphone, you can get info on how to send a personalized thank you card to a veteran. And then for every card that goes out, Heinz donates $1 of that money to the Wounded Warriors. Nice. If you send a card on Twitter or Facebook, Heinz will donate $1.57. Like Heinz 57, the sauce.
Got it.
That's outstanding. That's great.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. So give it up for Heinz. They're one of the companies that are actually doing it.
Thank you, Heinz.
Pretty cool.
I also have some facts here about Heinz and their history as far as troops and vets go, because they've been behind it for a while. In World War II, Heinz donated and converted one of its factories to manufacture parts for warplanes. Believe it or not.
Pretty huge.
Yeah, I think Ford did as well, didn't they?
They might have.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they turned an entire.
That's right.
Yeah.
Also in World War II, almost half of Heinz's total food production went to the Allied Armed Forces.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's huge.
Yeah. And in 2011, the H.J. Heinz Company and the Heinz Foundation collectively donated more than $300,000 to Wounded Warriors.
Well, as if I didn't like ketchup already.
I know, right? Just more reason to eat ketchup.
Right.
So
History of honor.
Good for Heinz.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So they're pretty much off the hook.
Definitely. Heinz is off the hook.
They're off the hook.
Right.
Heinz lives up to their label on this.
Not on the dirty list.
Yeah.
Clean list.
And I have a soft spot in my heart for Heinz because they're in Pittsburgh,
Is that
right?
Well, you're from Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, right.
Good to go.
Yeah.
And you're a Steelers fan?
Ask me next season.
Fair weather fan, huh?
No Eagles?
Eagles, there again. Let's wait and see what happens next season. we got a new coach. They got a new coach now, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, regardless, Eagles, Steelers, wherever you are, we're all rooting for vets. So thanks for joining us today, you guys. We'll see you on the next episode of Veterans Nation, and welcome home. Take care.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
For heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America,